thank you for joining me for the introductory video that's all about a mini-series that covers Erikson's stages of human development and his theory all about human development. In this mini-series we're going to be covering the first 5 stages, so that's birth to about age 18. That's a large chunk of time, really fun, really exciting chunk of time, a little bit scary sometimes, but we're going to have lots of fun exploring it and learning all about it. So before we jump into that, let's learn a little bit first about Erikson. Now, Erikson was extremely influential in the academic community. He was born in 1902, he died in 1994, so not that long ago. He taught all over the world. He taught at Harvard, he taught at Berkeley in California, he taught at Anna Freud School in Vienna. So he was very dear to the academic community. He was extremely influential, not only in psychology, but in medicine and in sociology and lots of other schools of thought, and we value very much all the contributions that he made, in particular to psychology and definitely in the area of human development. So it's a little bit funny that Erikson focused so much on identity and how we get our identity and how important that is to ourselves and to the people around us, because he himself suffered a huge identity crisis. He was not sure who his father was, and he spent literally his entire life trying to figure out his identity, who he really was. And throughout that journey, he changed his name several times. He was originally Erikson, and then he changed it to Erik Homburger, and eventually Erikson, which was the truest form of Erik as he could find. So that's how we know him today as Erikson. So, looking at Erikson's stages, he describes each stage as a crisis. So there's a positive characteristic and a negative characteristic, and they're paired against one another as a versus. So for instance, the very first stage is trust versus mistrust. So what a person has to do is they have to navigate this stage, and if they navigate it successfully, then they're given what's called a positive strength. So that is something that will be beneficial to them and help them move forward through life. And if they don't navigate it successfully, then what they end up with is what's called a core pathology, and that's a negative strength, or a negative characteristic, so it's not helpful at all. Now, Erikson was a little bit more optimistic than some other theorists in these ideas, these stages. He mentioned that even if you end up with a core pathology in one stage, moving forward, you're not necessarily doomed. You do have the capacity to successfully navigate through other stages, even if through one stage you did struggle. So we love that he was optimistic in that regard. Now, it is explained in his theory that you do have to navigate a stage completely before you can move on to the next one. So whether you navigate it successfully, you get a strength, or you wind up with a core pathology, either way, the stage has to be completed before you can move on to a next one and start a whole new crisis and work through another chapter in your life and your maturity and as you grow. So that he was very clear about that. Now, as scientists, it's important that we ask questions about these theories and that we learn as much as we can, and it is healthy and natural to be skeptical. There are lots of other theorists who really agree with Erikson. They've built on his theories. They've abandoned some portions of it, but they've added some of their own thoughts. They've expanded. One of whom is Mary Ainsworth, and you'll hear more about her later in another video. But there are lots of theorists out there who do agree with Erikson, but if their word's not enough, there are empirical studies that have been done using Erikson's theories. One such study was based out of the People's Republic of China. They took about 360 test subjects who were children, and they tested them using questionnaires and observation, and they worked to see if children really do pass through these stages as Erikson has proposed. Now, it was interesting. They found that experience played a much larger role in navigating these stages than Erikson originally proposed. He does acknowledge experience, that it is important, but he has a much more rigid idea based around age and how people move through these stages. So this study did find that experience and what a child had been exposed to was extremely influential. At the same time, they did find in the study that children did move through these stages as Erikson has proposed in the order that he proposes them. and that they really were fairly close to the ages that Erikson has laid out in his theory, and that they did display the characteristics, whether positive or negative, that he talks about in his crises and his stage theory. So so there you have it. There's an empirical study that does show that his theories are valid, and we're going to work through them together. We're going to explore them. So we hope that you thoroughly enjoy these next 5 videos. They're short. Hopefully you'll find them easy to use, helpful. We're really excited about making them and having had the opportunity to do so. And some of the guests that we meet along the way are a lot of fun, and we're quite excited for you to share in this journey with us. So enjoy, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining us for our introductory video, and if you have any questions or want to know more about the subject, please feel free to check out the resources below. So enjoy, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye!